welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. California Speedway is a 2-mile, low-banked, D-shaped oval superspeedway in Fontana, California. Currently tattooed as Auto Club Speedway, this track hosts annual NASCAR events, AMA Superbike events, IndyCar events, and open-wheel racing events. Since its inception in 1997, Auto Club Speedway has been delighting professional drivers and eliciting emotion and polarizing reviews from driving enthusiasts. This relatively young track provides Southern California drivers a high-speed oval and discerning infield apexes, and possibly one of the largest changes in speed and G-forces of any other track in Southern California. Following along in our road, highway, and racetrack review series, Auto Club Speedway will be the first racetrack to be reviewed on the channel. Not only will it be the first racetrack to be reviewed on the channel, but actually, Auto Club Speedway will be permanently changing and closing to the public starting in 2021. Let's see how Auto Club Speedway ranks from a driving enthusiast perspective and pay homage to a track which, in my opinion, was taken from us too soon. On April 20th, 1994, Roger Penske and Kaiser Steel announced the construction of California Speedway on the site of the abandoned Kaiser Steel Mill in Fontana, California. After the contaminated dirt from the Kaiser Steel Mill was removed and transported to a toxic waste landfill, the D-shaped oval was created with an asphalt surface, with turns banking at 14 degrees, the front stretch banking at 11 degrees, and the back stretch banking at 3 degrees. Paxson Waters Architecture and Penske Motorsports Inc. decided to leave the 100-foot water tower, which was a landmark of the Kaiser property, to be used in the center of the track as a scoreboard. With the full support of the community and the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, the official opening and ribbon-cutting ceremony was held on June 20th, 1997. The very first race, a NASCAR West Series race, was held the very next day. Although the birth certificate states that the track's name is California Speedway, on February 21, 2008, Southern California Automobile Club, or AAA, purchased the naming rights in a 10-year deal. Auto Club Speedway quickly became a living legend, with 5 main test circuits or tracks within the complex. There is the D-shaped oval, or Speedway Oval, sports car course, motorcycle course, interior test circuit course, and drag strip. Auto Club Speedway is best known for hosting the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series, and AMA Superbike events. This review will focus on the sports car course, or the course I have the most experience in driving. In the short time this track has provided driving thrills in the Southern California area, it has been home to and hosted many events in Hollywood movies and pop culture history. Most automotive enthusiasts who have recently seen the movie Ford vs. Ferrari will remember that this track was used as Daytona International Speedway during the movie. Other blockbusters such as Charlie's Angels, Herbie Fully Loaded, The Bucket List, and the 2006 Pixar film Cars used cues and theming from Auto Club Speedway. And if you're an Entourage fan, you've seen Vinny Chase drive around Auto Club Speedway in a Ferrari with his boys having a good time. Despite its praise and popularity amongst professional race organizations, driving enthusiasts, and pop culture history, it was revealed on September 8, 2020, that documents for the reconstruction of the facility as a half-mile high banked oval had been filed with San Bernardino County. The new layout would fit inside the footprint of the current layout's tri-oval and utilize much of the existing infrastructure such as the garages, main grandstand, and pit road suites. Construction is slated to begin spring 2021 and be ready for the 2022 NASCAR season. California Speedway, or Auto Club Speedway, will forever change as we know it. This is my review of California Speedway as an average driving enthusiast. When owner and operator International Speedway Corporation needed to design and build reserved grandstand seating that could hold 122,000 people for a mega sports racing complex, they had to pick a market that could sustain long-term growth. Fontana, California is not only located 47 miles east of Los Angeles, but it is nestled in between the Interstate 10 and 15 freeways, with a Metrolink station just behind it and the 210 freeway running east to west just north of it. There are a wide variety of ways to travel to 9300 Cherry Avenue. Roger Penske knew the exact location where the track sits would be advantageous for anyone traveling to Auto Club Speedway, as there was no shortage of travel options or arrangements. Between the Metrolink, bus transportation, local airports, and freeways, accessibility to Auto Club Speedway was well thought out, planned, and is logistically considered to be one of the easiest event centers to travel to and leave in Southern California. If you're traveling from across the country or around the world, then you have a long travel distance no matter what. But general accessibility to the track and the ease to find it once you're in Southern California is incredibly simple. A large parking lot and shuttle service makes things even easier. Logistics was just simply well thought out in this category. Auto Club Speedway scores a 10 in the category of accessibility. Wait, how can you rate Audibility for a racetrack? It's one thing to rate a road or highway based on Audibility, as there are generally options to select an alternate route or course of direction along another road. So how exactly does the category of Audibility apply to racetracks? Simply put, if the race is canceled, what are your options? If the racetrack is out in the middle of the desert, sorry, there are no audibles. The racetrack gets a 0. You basically pack up and go home if the race is canceled or if there's bad weather. But how do you rate the audibility factor of a racetrack that's located right near Los Angeles, specifically in Fontana, California? And even more specifically, and in the case of Auto Club Speedway, located just a half an hour from the base of Angeles Crest Highway. So in a hypothetical situation, if your race is canceled at Auto Club Speedway due to weather or some other unfortunate, unforeseen circumstance, you can pack up, hit the 210 freeway, drive 25 to 30 minutes west, and have an entire day of fun on Angeles Crest Highway. Not only that, but the surrounding areas of Auto Club Speedway can elicit all sorts of fun. Just northeast of Auto Club Speedway, up the 15 freeway, is the desert. Heading east of Auto Club Speedway, you can drive in the San Bernardino National Forest around the areas of Lake Arrowhead and Big Bear. You'll also find Crestline to be an amazing driving experience in the same area with beautiful views and fresh mountain air. And in general, you're no more than an hour away from some of the best driving roads Southern California has to offer. Auto Club Speedway is just spoiled with a great selection of audibles to choose from, but I don't know when you're going to need those audibles because the weather is generally perfect year-round. I award a score of 9 in this category. Located in a major metropolitan area and sitting within an event complex, Auto Club Speedway has great advantages with availability to resources. The availability of food, beverage, first aid, and medical services is right outside the complex and located all around Los Angeles. Car parts and accessories, hospitality services, lodging, entertainment, mechanics, dealerships, warehouses, whatever you might need, it's all around the area. Lying within the greater Los Angeles area definitely has its benefits for Auto Club Speedway. Due to Auto Club Speedway's location, arranging to have parts for your car dropped off or finding a place or location to go pick up parts for your car couldn't be easier. The popular phrase in the real estate industry, location, 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 definitely applies here. With a perfect 10 score in the category of accessibility and a praiseworthy score of 9 in the category of audibility, Auto Club Speedway coddles its driving enthusiasts, both inside the complex and outside, providing amenities and services not found by sibling tracks Willow Springs International Raceway or Buttonwillow Raceway Park. I encourage you to pull up Google Maps and look up Auto Club Speedway. Slowly zoom out from the complex, out into outer space. As you slowly zoom out from the complex, notice where Auto Club Speedway is located, in proximity to Los Angeles and the general Southern California area. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory why I'm giving Auto Club Speedway a 10 in the category of availability of resources. With any type of racing, the first thing you have to consider is safety, and your personal safety and the safety of others. Next, you have to figure out if you can even go racing. How much will it cost? Auto Club Speedway is a track where you have to plan ahead. I'm not kidding. I recommend an Excel spreadsheet for this course. I have never seen a track absolutely disintegrate consumables on a car like Auto Club Speedway, at least in the Southern California region. The sports car course of Auto Club Speedway is really going to put your car to the test. Even after running 3 or 4 sessions here, I highly recommend changing all of your fluids, checking brake lines, pads, clutch lines, any weakness or point in your car of failure where you think your safety might be jeopardized if you don't check it before the next race. With sharp jutting switchbacks and a high-speed oval where very capable cars can reach speeds well over 155 miles an hour, you're gonna find out if the marketing department brochure of the car you're driving was feeding you a line of BS when it was telling you it has functional aerodynamics. Be warned, this track will exhaust your car of its resources and consumables, and in turn will exhaust your pocketbook. Don't underestimate this track. Due to the high speeds, possibly plan for an extra set of tires, extra fuel, oil, fluids, a portable air compressor, and whatever else you know your car needs to perform at this high-performance, discerning track. I have to unfortunately award Auto Club Speedway a 2.5 in the category of investment. It's an amazing track, but it's gonna cost you to race here. I've already mentioned how Auto Club Speedway coddles its drivers with amenities and resources right at their fingertips. When considering the complex and the way the track was designed, there's no doubt that the entire package is going to provide a high-quality experience. I mean, this isn't just some dirt go-kart track out in the middle of the desert. I'm just kidding, I love you, Streets of Willow. But Auto Club Speedway really does provide the hero driving experience. Hear me out with this. As you're coming out of turn 17 with the main grandstand to the right of you, you feel like a hero in your car as you hit the banked oval and you're flying well past 130 miles an hour. You can almost envision the crowd cheering for you, your race team cheering you on and supporting you, leaving your lower line on the high-speed oval and passing someone on the upper line feels incredible as you cross the finish line going for another lap. Just coming off the track and heading back to the garage area feels incredible. It really is a true race car driving experience for someone like me who's a driving enthusiast, who will never be a professional driver. This track gives me the opportunity and experience to get a very, very small taste of what it's like to drive at a major sports complex like this. My favorite all-around track may be Buttonwillow Raceway Park, but the grandiose experience, and let's just be honest, the opportunity to drive by a lot of people really, really fast is really, really cool. Come on, it is. I love this track for that reason and the potential for what it could be. Now, not all is perfect. There are a few areas on the track where the asphalt could be repaired. For example, right around the turn 9-10 chicane, there is, uneven ground or asphalt there that lifts the car up every time you drive fast over it. It almost feels like the car's leaving the ground. It's a slightly unsettling experience, and I'm sure other drivers have felt the same way. Right around turns 15, 16, and 17, there's some uneven asphalt as well, which kind of unsettles the suspension, but that's the challenge of the course. So while not all is quite perfect, the overall experience of the track is incredible. When you consider the sports complex that this track sits in, the amenities that it provides its guests and drivers, and the luxury amenities available for some races, you can see why Auto Club Speedway kind of looks like the coddled, pampered way to go racing. And I'm okay with that, because I like having bathrooms at every corner. If a long line develops out of one bathroom, there's one right around the corner you can go check. Food is easy to access, cellular signals are strong, and literally, AAA is there if you need them for a tow or service on your vehicle. Literally, they are actually right there. They have trucks located right there. And it should be on your bucket list to at least rent out a garage parking spot for one race. It really gives you the authentic experience that you are on a race team out racing a high-speed, intense track. I'm sending Auto Club Speedway off with a 9.5 in the category of quality. A fast lap around Auto Club Speedway requires a lot of study and a lot of practice. Professional racing instructors have dedicated several uploads to this course and how to properly run a fast lap depending on the course you're driving. Specifically looking at the sports car course, it's easy to see how Auto Club Speedway is one of the most challenging tracks in Southern California and is very intimidating considering the high-speed oval and banking. With a high-speed banked oval and a wall bordering the entire track, it's slightly unnerving to be traveling over 155 miles an hour as you approach number 1 and number 2 turns on the high-speed oval. One of the most overlooked and dangerous parts of the track is turn 3 as you're dispatching into the infield from the high-speed oval. Draw distance and looking far ahead as you're approaching turn number 2 is very important as you approach turn number 3. You have to mitigate your speed and judge your braking distance appropriately, as turn 4 is really important for carrying your speed and building momentum for the infield. Turn number 8 is described as a hairpin with a moderate difficulty level. If you've never driven the track before, you want to stay to the left and turn late to the right and turn more than you expect. Maybe it's just me, but in a very strange way, this feels like a miniature version of turn 9 at Willow Springs International Raceway. I digress. We could do a whole upload just on the proper driving lines of this track and the areas you need to really look out for. Overall, Auto Club Speedway sports car course presents a moderate to high difficulty level due to the strategy needed to properly navigate the course for a fast lap, and for some people to mitigate the fear of driving at high speeds with a wall right next to you. When you add in the banking, high varying speed infield, and deceiving hairpin turns, you begin to really appreciate the sports car course of Auto Club Speedway, as it pushes both car and driver to the limits of their respective potential. I mean, just look at this track from any angle. It's intimidating. In the very plain spoken words of my friend, he said, "It's a legit racetrack." And that, my friend, it is. Auto Club Speedway scores a 9.5 in the category of challenge. Despite the overall high challenge and difficulty of Auto Club Speedway, once you master it, it becomes one of the most fun and rewarding driving experiences of your life. By no means have I mastered the sports car course of Auto Club Speedway, but as my lap times have improved time after racing there, the intensity of the challenge has slowly transitioned to fun as I've slowly learned the course and the ins and outs of how to run a fast lap at Auto Club Speedway. As I've already mentioned, it's fun feeling like a hero driver or racer as you fly past the finish line, racing by the grandstands, feeling the lateral G-forces as you hit the banked turn coming into turn 1 and turn number 2, feeling all systems stop as you enter turn 3 and dispatch into the infield. sweating and looking in your rearview mirror as you negotiate turn number 5 and hit the straightaway heading into turn 6 and 7, laying low through turn 16 and 17 as you head onto the high-speed oval hitting the bank turn, hearing your 4th gear wind out as you see turn number 1 on the high-speed oval approaching, wondering how your car is going to stick and manage the high G-force that it's about to experience. I can only say I wish I had more time in the future to perfect the driving line on this track, because once you master it, it is so much fun. The little kid in me will absolutely miss driving the high-speed oval and feeling the positive and lateral G-forces hitting the banked turn and oval of turn number 1 and turn number 2. Through all of its intensity, I award Auto Club Speedway a 9.5 in the category of fun. The category of safety is a rather large category to cover for a racetrack. Other than considering your direct safety on the racetrack and the safety of others, you also want to consider the availability to medical resources and services, amongst other things like protecting your investments and your car while at the track. A track like Auto Club Speedway won't present the type of dangers that a driving experience like Angeles Crest Highway would present if you're by yourself out in the middle of nowhere or in the forest. There's a very high probability that if you're racing at Auto Club Speedway, so are many others. And there's a whole team of safety personnel, track personnel, management. You're not alone. So in this regard, you're in very good company and you're in a safe environment. Help of any kind is around the corner. So in that way, Auto Club Speedway rates very highly in the category of safety. However, that's not what we're really looking at here. I want to examine how safe is the driving experience at Auto Club Speedway compared to other tracks. This is where you consider the safety of negotiating a high-speed oval with an 11-degree banked front stretch and a wall to the right of you. As you head into the 14-degree banked turns of number 1 and 2 off of the high-speed oval, you have the wall to the right of you again. Even if you're driving this track for the first time, you want to approach this track with an air of confidence. Safety, but confidence, because you don't want to ever feel like you're not in control of your car or freak out while you're driving the high-speed oval. That's just turn number 1 and 2 of the track. There are 17 turns of this track, which each present a safety issue, no matter how you look at it. As previously stated, turn number 3 is also difficult to negotiate because you have to really plan your braking ahead of time and negotiate turn 3 and 4 to properly negotiate a fast lap through the infield. If you're not careful, you can literally blow right by turn number 3 right off the track, and I've seen people get rear-ended at that point as well. This track requires your complete and undivided attention. Well, any track does, and any type of racing does, but this track really requires you to be on your toes at all times, as many people who drive their car on the racetrack also use the same car to drive to work or run errands in. They want to make sure they're safe before they send that same car around the track at 150 miles an hour with a wall right next to them. There are just many things to consider when driving at this track. And as safety is a paramount concern for any professional race driver, it should be for the novice driving enthusiast as well. Study this track. Consider the risks. Contemplate if you're comfortable driving the high-speed oval and negotiating turn number 1 and 2. And talk to an instructor or other friends who have driven the track. Despite the fact that the track is closing as we know it, the infamous high-speed oval and wall issue that polarizes most people drops the safety score down to a 6 for Auto Club Speedway. I stand by the score of a 6 because there's a lot to consider when you take a novice driving enthusiast and put them on a professional course like Auto Club Speedway. Although drivers of all experience levels have to consider safety first no matter what, the risk and issues of safety are more paramount and present with a novice driving enthusiast compared to a professional race car driver who has a less probability or risk of experiencing an issue or accident at Auto Club Speedway. With regards to scenery, as far as racetracks go, it doesn't get much better than Auto Club Speedway. The entire atmosphere of the complex makes you feel like a hero or heroine driver as you are walking through the complex, getting into your car, and negotiating the high-speed oval. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Driving the high-speed oval with the grandstand next to you, imagining a crowd roaring as you cross the finish line, is just an experience the imagination couldn't create even as you're falling asleep at night. The infield garage area feels very professional and has a grandiose feeling to it, giving the driving enthusiast a chance to feel like the professional for a day. Entering and exiting the track is an experience unto itself. It feels like you're driving onto the runway of an airport. It's just overwhelming at first. This track was definitely the most intimidating the first time out compared to any other Southern California track I've experienced. Although Southern California weather lends itself to driving and racing 365 days a year, it is nice when there's light rainfall in the mountains to the north of Auto Club Speedway. As you see a little bit of snow crest the mountaintops, it really adds to the scenery and spectacle that is Auto Club Speedway. From the grandstand to the scoreboard, luxury box suites to the bathrooms, autograph pit to the amazing garage experience, the scenery is nothing short of amazing, especially for the novice driving enthusiast who is setting up for a weekend at racing at Auto Club Speedway. For making the average driving enthusiast feel like a hero or heroine race car driver for the day, I award Auto Club Speedway a 9.5 in the category of scenery. Saving the best category for last, this is what I'll miss the most about this track. To steer off course for 1 second, we designed and engineered our Boss 302 track car off of the Boss 302S track car, available as a turnkey race car from Ford Racing. These cars both excel very well at a track like Auto Club Speedway, with their high revving V8 engines and functional aerodynamics. This track gives both of these cars a chance to stretch their legs and really show their potential for fast lap times. How many other tracks can you think of where you can plan a race weekend last minute, travel over 155 miles an hour on an 11 to 14 degree banked high-speed oval, and immediately come to a dead stop as you dispatched into an infield of discerning turns and apexes? This track doesn't just test your car, it's hell week for your car. This track is straight truth serum for your car or build project. Do you want to test the driving capabilities on track of your car manufacturer's claims that your car can handle anything? Well, here it is. Take it to Auto Club Speedway. If an auto manufacturer claims that their car is an actual track car and not a faux track car, Auto Club Speedway will separate these two categories very quickly. There's no room for faux track cars here on the sports car course at Auto Club Speedway. No matter if your driving line differs because you have a rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive car, or choose to test your lap times based on late apexes or double apexes, this track presents a high test factor that most other tracks will never get close to. This track requires endless learning and study and will always test the driver and no doubt test your car. Carrying consistent speed and achieving consistent lap times with this track will always test the driver and the car, unlike many other tracks. This track specifically will test the driver's precision and patience, and will ultimately test your vehicle's drivetrain, aerodynamics, braking, suspension, well, every component of your vehicle. With regard to testing, you can push your vehicle to the max in every aspect on this track. Auto Club Speedway scores a 9.5 in the category of testing. One of my biggest regrets in doing the Auto Club Speedway track review this late is the fact that it's closing, and I won't have a chance to study this track in the future. This is the type of track that requires endless study. You can literally jump down the rabbit hole and never stop perfecting your performance on this track. It never gets old to drive, and it's always a fun opportunity to take a drive on the high-speed oval. With NASCAR constructing and reconstructing the facility into a half-mile high-banked oval track, the ability for the average driving enthusiast like myself to enjoy Auto Club Speedway will no longer be available starting in spring of 2021. For 23 years, Southern Californians and other drivers from around the world have been able to enjoy Auto Club Speedway. The complex, the architecture, the design, the variety of tracks, and high-quality experience that the entire complex offered the driving enthusiast and guest. It goes well beyond the banked straights and the banked curves, the chicanes, the hairpin turns, the famous and infamous high-speed oval. It reaches well past all of those points, and it touches us at our soul, in our imagination, to the race car driver inside all of us, who yearn for that hero or heroine experience of driving on a banked oval in front of people cheering, crossing the finish line on a professional track, in the sunshine, in a beautiful Southern California environment. For all of the reasons mentioned, and considering the entire racing experience that California Speedway offers the driving enthusiast, I am sending off Auto Club Speedway with a final score of 86 out of 100. Thank you, California Speedway, for the unforgettable, incredible driving experiences. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you are new here with Tracking Ponies, hit that subscribe button and smash the
they were a small bird.
One, 5.
Reception 201.